The 155 mm Long Tom was a 155 mm caliber field gun developed and used by the United States military. It was produced in M1 and M2 variants. Developed to replace the Canon 155 mm GPF, the gun was deployed as a heavy field weapon during World War II and the Korean War, and also classed as secondary armament for seacoast defense. The gun could fire a 45.36 kg shell to a maximum range of 22 km, with an estimated accuracy life of 1,500 rounds. The Long Tom was also adopted by a number of other nations, including the United Kingdom, Austria, Israel, and the Netherlands. Development. Before entering World War I, the United States was poorly equipped with heavy artillery. To address this problem, a number of foreign heavy artillery guns were adopted, including the Canon 155 mm GPF. After the end of the war, development work began in the United States on a design to improve upon the existing models of heavy gun and Carriage. A number of prototypes were produced in the 1920s and 1930s, but the projects were put on hold due to lack of funds. In 1938, the 155 mm gun T4 on Carriage T2 was finally adopted as 155 mm gun M1 on Carriage M1. 155 mm gun M1 the new gun design used a barrel similar to the earlier 155 mm GPF, but with an Asbury breech that incorporated a vertically hinged breech plug support. This type of breech used an interrupted thread breech plug with a lock that opened and closed the breech by moving a single lever. The ammunition for the 155 mm gun was separate loading, that is, with the shell and the powder charge are packaged, shipped and stored separately. The shell is lifted into position behind the breech and then rammed into the chamber to engage the shell's rotating band into the barrel rifling. Ramming the shell home is followed by loading a number of powder bags, as required for the desired range. The powder charge could be loaded in up to 7 charge settings. Once the powder is loaded, the breech plug is closed and locked, and a primer is placed in the breech plug's firing mechanism. After setting the elevation and azimuth, the gun is ready to fire. The firing mechanism is a device for initiating the ammunition primer. The primer then sets off the igniter, which ignites the propelling charge of the ammunition. A continuous pull lanyard first cocks the firing pin, then fires the primer when pulled. The gun was developed into M1A1 and M2 variants. After World War II, the United States Army reorganized, and the gun was redesignated as the M59. Carriage M1 the gun carriage provides a stable, yet mobile, base for the gun. The new split-trail carriage featured an 8-wheel integral 2-axle bogie and a 2-wheel limber that supported the trails for transport. The carriage was a 2-piece design. The upper carriage included the side frames with trunnion bearings that supported the recoil mechanism that carried the gun cradle, slide and gun tube. The upper carriage also incorporated the elevating and azimuth gearing. The upper carriage pivoted an azimuth on the lower carriage. The lower carriage included the transport suspension and the split trail that stabilized and absorbed recoil when the gun was fired. After the gun was placed in a firing position with the gun pointing in the desired direction, the trails were lowered to the ground and the limber was removed. The carriage wheels would then be raised using built-in ratcheting screw jacks, lowering the gun carriage to the ground. Once on the ground, the limber end of the trail legs were separated to form a wide V with its apex at the center of the carriage pivot point. A recoil spade at the limber end of each trail leg required a correctly positioned hole to be dug for the spade, which was attached to the trail end, to transmit the recoil from gun carriage through the trails and into the earth. This made the gun very stable and assisted its accuracy. The removable spades were transported in brackets on the trail legs. The carriage M1 and M2 were shared with the 8-inch howitzer M1, differing only in the gun tube, sleigh, cradle, recoil and equilibrators, weight due to the heavier barrel. Specifications. Service. The Long Tom saw combat for the first time in North African campaign on December 24, 1942, with a battery of the 36th Field Artillery Battalion. Eventually it equipped about 49 battalions, including 40 in the European theatre and 7 in the Pacific. The preferable prime mover was initially the Canon 6A, 6.7, a 1/2-ton truck. From 1943 on it was replaced by the tracked M4 high-speed tractor. A small number of long-ton guns were authorized for supply via Lend-Lease channels, to the United Kingdom and France. However, the authorized establishment of British batteries, including 4 batteries from the Dominion of Newfoundland, totaled 88 guns. Variants. Gun variants: M1920, a Euro prototype; T4, a Euro prototype; M1, a Euro first production variant, 20 built; M1A1, a Euro modified breech ring; M1A1E1, a Euro prototype with chromium-plated bore; M1A1E3, a Euro prototype with liquid cooling; M2 standard, a Euro with modified breech ring. Carriage variants: T2, a Euro prototype; M1. M1A1, a Euro refurbished T2 carriages. M2 standard, limber variants, M1 standard, M5 heavy. The gun was also mounted on a modified M4 medium tank chassis, in mount M13. The resulting vehicle was initially designated 155mm gun motor carriage T83 and eventually standardized as 155mm gun motor carriage M40. 155mm gun motor carriage T79, based on T23 medium tank chassis, never advanced past proposal stage. A portable Panama mount M1 was also provided. Ammunition. The gun utilized separate loading, bagged charge ammunition. The propelling charge consisted of base and increment. The data in the table below is for supercharge. Existing examples: Austria Bunker Museum Wurzenpass, Pass. Israel Beit Haus Museum, Tel Aviv, Israel. Netherlands Wings of Liberation Museum Park in Best, Netherlands. United Kingdom Pendennis Castle, Cornwall, UK. United States Battleship Memorial Park, Mobile, Alabama, Timberline Park, Albany, Oregon. See an aerial photo on Google Maps. U.S. Army Ordnance Museum, Aberdeen, Maryland. VFW Zachary Taylor Post 3784, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Georgia Veterans Memorial State Park, Cordele, Georgia. Fort Sill Field Artillery Museum, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. VFW Post 2330, Searcy, AR, Museum of American Armor, Old Bethpage, New York. See also, List of U.S. Army weapons by supply catalog designation SNLD 24, 15 cm Canon 18 German equivalent, 152mm gun M1935 Soviet equivalent, only built in small numbers, Can 1 DAR 149/40 Modulo 35 Italian equivalent, only few built. Notes, TM9 to 3305 P2-8, Figure 2-12. M1 155mm gun on M2 carriage, breech block, TM9 to 3305 P5-1, Figure 5-2, hand loading and ramming for weapons firing separate loading ammunition, TM9 to 3305 P4-1, Figure 4-2. Lands and grooves in Figure 4-3. Projectile with rotating band, TM9 to 3305 P4-15, Figure 4-27 M13 firing mechanism, TM9 to 3305 P7-2, Figure 7-1, top and bottom carriages, TM9 to 3305 P7-3, Figure 7-2, gun support assembly, TM9 to 3305 P7-7, Figure 7-6. Pneumatic equilibrator, Popular Science Magazine, TM9 to 3305 P2-11, Figure 2-18. M1 8-inch howitzer on M1 carriage, Zalaga Euro-US Field Artillery of World War II, pages 20 Euro 22. Zalaga, U.S. Field Artillery of World War II, pages 37. ABCD Honeycutter Euro Sherman, A History of the American Medium Tank, p. 353-355, 570. Honeycutt Euro Pershing, A History of the Medium Tank T20 Series, p. 158. Technical Manual TM9-1901, Ammunition, p. 197-202. Technical Manual TM9-1904, Ammunition Inspection Guide, p. 490-518. http www.bunkermuseum@/file Bikaiwaki Israel 32427 Israel Defense Forces JPG, file, Museum Bavridin Vligels 3 JPG. References, Bishop, Chris. Encyclopedia of Weapons of World War II ISBN 0-7607-1022-8. Honeycutt, R. P. Sherman, A History of the American Medium Tank. Presidio Press. ISBN 0-89141-080-5. Honeycutt, R. P. Pershing, A History of the Medium Tank T20 Series. Feist Publications. ISBN 1-112-95450-3. Zaliger, Stephen J. U.S. Field Artillery of World War II. New Vanguard 131 illustrated by Brian Delph. Osprey Publishing. ISBN 978-1-84603-061-1. Honeycutt, R. P. Pershing, A History of the Medium Tank T20 Series. Feist Publications. ISBN 1-112-95450-3. Technical Manual TM9-350, 155 mm Gun M2. Carriage Mill and M1A1. Gun Mount M13. Heavy Carriage Limber M2 and M5. And Firing Platform M Mill War Department, 1944. Technical Manual TM9-1901, Artillery Ammunition. War Department, 1944. Technical Manual TM9-1904, Ammunition Inspection Guide. War Department, 1944. Technical Manual TM9-3305, Principles of Artillery Weapons. Department of the Army, May 1981. External links, 155 mm. Novel mechanical features give big gun power, small gun speed, November 1942, Popular Science early article with many photos and detailed drawings showing how it is brought into firing position from travel mode.